Welcome to our deep dive, everyone.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to a really unique deep dive tailored just for you. Today, we're tackling something pretty historic in trotting. V75 at Tingsryd.
Yeah, first time in, over 20 years? That's big.
Exactly. V75 action on this mile track. Now, for anyone less familiar, most tracks are 1,000 meters, standard ovals. But a mile track, that's 1,609 meters. It's just different.
Oh, total different. Longer straights, wider turns.
And based on the sources you've shared with us, that seems to change everything about how these races might unfold.
Absolutely. Moving from 1,000 meters to a mile, it's not just more distance, it genuinely shifts the race dynamics. On those tighter tracks, getting to the front, getting spets is often key.
Right. Premium on the lead.
But the sources suggest that here at Tingsryd, while start speed still counts, of course, the ability to sustain speed or make a really strong run from further back, that becomes much more possible.
So different strategies, different horse types might shine.
Exactly. It demands a different approach, highlights different strengths.
Which is why diving into this Tingsryd card is so interesting.
Let's jump in.
Okay, V75 1. What's the vibe here? The sources seem to agree it's pretty open.
That's the main takeaway, yeah. No single horse is just screaming winner across the board. Sets up a potentially tricky start.
So who is getting mentioned?
Well, there are several, each with their own angle according to the analysis, like hashtag 5Inaki Zet. Mentioned is interesting. Some seem to favor him a bit.
Why's that?
Sources point to him having 2 races under his belt now, so fitness should be better, and he's got the American Sulky on.
Okay. The American Sulky lighter, potentially faster, right? Often flagged for speed.
Precisely. An equipment change the analysis sees as potentially significant. Then there's hashtag for Green Hills Dancer.
What's the story there?
The analysis notes the stable is in red-hot form right now, and the potential for a good tactical spot in the race is seen as a plus.
Makes sense. And what about horses where the track itself is the focus?
Right. Hashtag 9 Eminent Chronos comes up there. Some sources really believe this mile track format suits him down to the ground, especially after a couple of comeback runs.
And didn't he win here before?
He did. That Tingsryd win in his history is a key point in the analysis. Makes him seem quite dangerous here.
Okay, so track history is big for hashtag 9. What about hashtag 3 Exumaby? Sounds interesting.
Yeah, coming over from Italy, the material calls this one super interesting, especially getting Mass Hill just in the bike. Those international horses can be real wild cards.
Definitely. Any others? Hashtag 6 Kiss Me Sisu.
Mentioned as a possibility, yeah. The analysis points out she was kind of stuck at a tough spot last time, but has shown she's got the engine in previous wins. Needs the right trip, maybe.
And for people digging for value, looking for a potential long shot.
Hashtag 10 Ironic Man gets a mention. Had a breaker gallop recently, but the analysis highlights his underlying potential and specifically notes that Tingsryd's long finishing straight should really suit him.
So looking past the recent issue based on track fit, classic?
Yeah, exactly. Sources also flag hashtag 8Take8 Force Jet noted as half fixed last time, suggesting maybe an issue, but it's a home track start. Hashtag 12 Highway Flamingo is in there as a potential long shot in the data.
And hashtag 7 Night Train Boko. I remember that name.
Yeah, specifically remembered for a really fast win at Tingsryd previously. The analysis notes post 7, sure, but adds that it's less of a negative on a mile track compared to a 1,000-meter one. Again, that Tingsryd difference.
Wow. Okay, so V75-1, the big insight is just the sheer number of horses the sources see with a legitimate shot.
That's it.
Let's move to V75-2. This one's longer, 2,413 meters. How does that extra distance change things at Tingsryd?
Well, stamina obviously becomes more important, but also tactics. Timing your move on those long straights.
Yeah.
Go too early, you're empty. Wait too long, you've got too much ground to make up. The sources highlight that tactical element.
Gotcha. And despite that complexity, hashtag 3Go Kenneth Go seems like a pretty strong favorite in the material.
Yeah, multiple accounts point to him. Came out of a really tough race during a lit loppet weekend, but still showed serious speed from a bad spot. Some sources flat out predict he might grab the lead here and be tough to reel in.
So the lead is seen as key for him.
Based on the analysis, yes, especially for him over this distance. But there are definitely challengers flagged. Hashtag 1 Chow Brada, for instance, ran enormously well last time here at Tingsryd.
Oh, really? From where?
From post 12. A terrible spot. The analysis really emphasizes that from a much better inside post this time, you absolutely cannot dismiss them. That track experience counts.
That's fascinating. Good run from a bad post, now gets a good one. What about hashtag 12 Duplantis Pellini? He has the bad post this time.
Yeah, post 12. But some sources think the wider Tingsryd turns might actually help a horse like him, potentially offsetting that wide draw a bit. Style wasn't great last time, the analysis knows, but maybe this track is what he needs. A bit of a calculated gamble based on track fit.
Interesting. And hashtag 8 Caspian Bro.
Sources flag him too. Won a V75 over distance not long ago, seen as maybe overlooked early on. Needed to be better last time at the distance, sure, but maybe this track helps him bounce back.
Okay. How about hashtag 9 Lovely Wilma? Sounds promising.
Highlighted as a really good horse. Coming back after a long break and galloped last time, but the analysis expects huge improvement with that race in her system. Worth serious thought.
And any long shots for this longer race?
Hashtag 11 Charlie TP gets a mention. Sources say he didn't like a wet start last time, but was very good before that, nearly won on V75. Good driver now, too, which makes him interesting at potentially bigger odds.
The data also mentions hashtag 4 Jack Link, but maybe less discussion in the opinion pieces.
That seems right, yeah. More focus on the others we discuss.
V75-3 next, the Gould division. Back to a sprint, 1,600 untimed meters, speed time.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
And hashtag 4 Hustle Rain is definitely pegged as a favorite by some. But interestingly, one source wasn't blown away by his Copenhagen Cup run.
Oh, it's some debate there.
A bit, yeah. Raises questions like, can he win if he doesn't get the lead? Especially if challenged early. The race pace and his versatility are points of discussion in the analysis. Hashtag 10 Bengen is highlighted. The analysis really liked his toughness last time, thinks that will serve him well here over the sprint.
And hashtag 6 Oscar LA.
Seen as having plenty of ability. Some sources feel maybe we haven't seen his absolute best in Sweden yet, but the underlying talent is definitely noted. Capacity is there.
Okay, any long shot potential here?
Hashtag 9 Killmister gets flagged as a low percentage possibility. Showed very good speed last time, according to the sources, even if it was an easier race. American Sulky is back on.
There it is again, the sulky change for speed.
Exactly. And the analysis suggests post 9 might give him a decent trip to use that speed. Also, hashtag 3 Carrot River is called a potential luxury long shot.
Luxury. What's the angle?
Raced barefoot last time after a break. Now has that race under his belt. Again, equipment change plus fitness boost flagged by the sources.
Barefoot, no shoes. Lighter, maybe faster. Bit more risk. Got it.
Yep. And hashtag 1 Carry Love is mentioned in the data, but not much narrative detail.
Onwards to V75 for Class 3, another sprint.
And here, hashtag 4 Champus gets strong backing in the sources. Often the first choice, even the main tip. His start speed is the key thing highlighted.
The thinking is he gets to the front and just goes.
That's the picture painted, yeah.
Yeah.
Potential to lead and run away. Won well from the front last time. Sources expect him to load and try for the same again.
Clear strategy. But is there a big challenger? What about Tingsryd specialists? Any horses like that here?
Yes, hashtag 5 Alvina Roy, specifically noted by Connections, according to the sources, as loving this Tingsryd track. That local knowledge is flagged, suggesting good capacity and definitely one to include.
Okay. And hashtag 3 Arnie Silvio.
Sources note he was a bit disappointing last time, but the key change now is running without shoes barefoot again. Seen as potentially interesting because of that.
Right. Equipment changes are a recurring theme. Hashtag 6 Miracle Mile.
Showed good early speed, won nicely from just behind the leader last time. Analysis flags that performance, says don't forget him, possibly at low odds.
Hashtag 1 Format Chronos. Well bred.
Yes, well-bred, stable's choice. But one source worries that the inside draw might actually lead to a tricky trip early on. Something to weigh up.
And anyone flying under the radar.
Hashtag 9 Songbird is called completely overlooked forgotten. Analysis points to a good run in a tough race before and thinks this track should suit her well.
Okay. And hashtag 10 Jewel in the Crown.
Mentioned in the data. And one opinion source highlights her as one to include.
Good stuff. Race 5, Damanstoet for the mares. Splint again.
And this one feels quite focused at the top, according to the sources. Two names keep coming up. Hashtag 8 Felicia Zett and hashtag 12 Delicious Gar.
Okay, tell me about hashtag 8 Felicia Zett.
Seen as a clear standout, the favorite in multiple sources.
Yeah.
Analysis loved her performance last time, raced wide, third track, tough race, still strong, highlights her ability to do the work herself. Good chance regardless of trip, basically. One source flat out thinks she'll take the lead eventually and win.
Strong words. And hashtag 12 Delicious Gar.
Also seen as a major player. Won really impressively last time, came flying from the back with a super fast finish. Analysis expects a similar late burst on a long Tingsryd straight, seen as the main danger to hashtag 8.
So is it just between those two?
Not entirely. Hashtag 3 Darlington Fame is also noted as very good lately in the analysis. She's quick early, finds a good spot. Sources suggest she might even get the lead first, then maybe sit behind the leader.
Which could make her dangerous in the finish.
Exactly. She's explicitly mentioned as part of that leading group, #8, #12, and #3.
Right, the top trio. Anyone else potentially getting involved?
#5, LaFerrari Demanchi is noted as very fast, might challenge #3 for that early lead. Suggests maybe a bit of pace pressure early on. The data also lists #9 Volcanic Blue Chip and #11 Kitty Hawk as possibilities, but less detail on them.
V756, the pre-Redley Express. Named after a star and his half-brother is running. That's #5, Big Ben Pellini. Longer distance here, 200 to 413 meters for the 4-year-olds.
Yeah, great little storyline for the race.
Yeah.
Looking at the analysis, #4 Chronos is mentioned positively. Developed well, finished last year strong. Good seasonal debut running second, actually, to another horse in this race.
Okay. What's his style?
Analysis notes he's not lightning fast early, but finishes strong. Expected to be even better now with that first race done. Good post position, too. One source leans towards him as a first choice.
And the half-brother, #5 Big Ben Pellini. More than just breeding.
Oh, yeah. Highlighted for serious speed. Was very fast last time from post 12 at Solvala to get third. Analysis notes he's quick early, could potentially lead. Suggests he could go all the way if he's as good as last time. Fitting name if he wins this one.
So maybe #4 the finisher versus #5 the potential leader.
That's a key dynamic.
Who else is highlighted?
#2 RK Eagle. Sources note he battled hard for second in a quick time during Elite Loppet weekend. Just keeps delivering good efforts against good horses.
Consistent. How about #9 Tony Adams?
Sources expected a lot from him. He's had a few races now, so the analysis anticipates a better performance here with fitness up.
And I remember reading something about #10 Mr. Lion being overlooked.
Incredibly overlooked, yes. Very low percentage in the early betting pools, despite what the analysis calls a very strong performance last time, just running away from a decent horse.
What does that suggest?
The analysis explicitly says it shows just how deep this particular 4-year-old race is. Lots of talent.
That really paints a picture of a tough race.
It does. Other names appearing in data or mentioned by opinion sources include #11 Azad Zet, flagged as a high percentage horse, #1 Fahrenheit, #8 Currency Artist, and #12 North Stream Cash is maybe a long shot.
Okay.
Sources agree. Deep race, tough puzzle.
All right, the grand finale, V75-7, it's a Spore Trappa over the long 213 meters.
And the analysis reflects that. #9 Pingus is viewed as the favorite by many sources. Galloped early last time, but was apparently enormously good after that, just disappeared once he got the lead.
So hard to ignore despite the mistake.
Very hard. Especially the analysis notes, where the top driver changed Jepson's up for the first time. One source explicitly says that driver change makes him the correct favorite. But, there's a big but.
Uh-oh, what is it?
One source strongly states he is way, way better, 3 classes better, when he leads, compared to coming from behind.
That's a huge tactical point for a mile track.
Absolutely crucial. Now, contrast that with #11 Imperator Am. He was actually more favored than Pingus last time from a similar draw. Analysis notes the American sulky is on again. Top driver stays. He's had 2 recent races.
So maybe just as good fundamentally.
One source puts it exactly like that. Not a worse horse than #9 Pingus, fundamentally. Just needs to put it all together. Seen as a very strong challenger.
Okay, so maybe #9 favored, but with that tactical question mark, #11 right there with him.
That seems to be the core debate in the sources. But in a tricky race like this, people look for value. #6 Cax again gets highlighted. Called a potential winning masterpiece, or a really interesting low percentage shot for this specific race setup. Won well in Copenhagen before, tough run last time, got grit.
Masterpiece sounds intriguing. Any super long shots?
#14 Midnight Special is flagged that way. One source calls him a really good horse that often gets overlooked by the betting market. Hidden potential, maybe?
And a bunch of others mentioned in the data or tips.
Yeah, the sources also list #1 Tricks with Trimmix, #12 Botnas Idol, #8 Tears in Heaven, #15, without a doubt, another long shot type, and #7 DJ Spritz. Also, #13 Basha Diablo gets a specific mention in the data and from an opinion source. Shown great form for a long time. Distance is no problem this time, unlike last. Perfect position. And #10 Tour is mentioned too.
Wow, lots of names there. So wrapping up the final race.
Analysis focuses on #9 Pingus as the favorite, but with that massive tactical caveat about needing the lead. #11 Imperator Am is right there as the main challenger, seen as having similar raw ability. That really is the absolute key takeaway, isn't it? The tactical side of things on this track, sprint or distance, the wider turns maybe helping some, reducing the pain of bad posts slightly, the emphasis on sustained speed or timing that run from behind. All these things the analysis highlights make this V75 round feel unique.